Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. Got quite a bit to get through here, so I'm not going to talk your ear off at the outset. This video does start though with something we already featured last year, but the channel's grown a bit and it's still dynamic and interesting footage, so I wanted to share it again for the newer subscribers. After that though, the balance of this footage is primarily naval based. I spent a lot of time watching documentaries and footage concerning aircraft carriers, battle groups, things like that. Because I'm fascinated by the Nimitz incident from 2004 and all this talk of tic tacs. So yeah, get in the comments, share it with other people you think might enjoy it, and let's get to it. All right, here's number one. So like I mentioned, I captured this last year, and there's still no explanation for it, but it's just dynamic. This thing was changing colors. It was super, super bright. It was changing shape. This is slowed and zoomed in, and we'll slowly back out and get back to real speed. But this thing just comes up. It's, like I said, changing color. It dims out. It comes, hooks around, and you'll see here it comes down, and then it's hard to see, but it goes back up. And we'll get in closer so you can see that, but it's clearly not moving like a balloon or an insect or a bird or anything. I mean, it just like comes down and then goes straight up. And yeah, it's, like I said, it's difficult to explain, but the brightness of it, when I was looking at it, in addition to filming it, I mean, I also experienced this, right? I was a witness to this. And, it was like a welding torch bright. I mean, I don't know how to explain the brightness, and the color changing was just so dynamic. And obviously, this is broad daylight in Los Angeles. I don't, you know, and it was recorded with an iPhone. So there's just no answers for it. But, you see something like this, and then you're lucky enough to catch it on camera, and you feel very fortunate. At least that's how I felt, and I still feel that way now. All right, so number two here. It starts out like this, then it changes into that, and then eventually it's going to change into that. And this is one of those that, it seems to be over a ship uh, at sea. This thing over here, I think, is an airplane, and it's circling around, but this is not an airplane. And then it just blinks in, changes, and then it's gone. Um, I don't know how to explain it other than I saw it. So, and this is it in real speed. I know it's tough to see, but that's kind of the point of these things is you got to zoom in and slow it down, and you'll see these things. But again, this is like seems to be right over the ship. Each one of these three are recognizable. So number three here, I recorded this. This is not naval, but I'm sharing it because of something I find interesting here. This white orb basically shoots across uh, this helicopter. And if you look, you'll see here, when I pause it, it's underneath the rotor. And then you hit play, it's underneath the tail. But then here, this third time, you hit pause, and it's on the other side of the rotor. So it seems to have gone through. Um, that's my interpretation of the footage and why I thought it was worth sharing. It's also interesting because you don't see any wings or anything. You don't know how it's even moving through space. But and this is real speed, getting closer and closer. But yeah, the fact that this, you know, like I said, I don't know if you want to call it an orb, call it whatever you want, really. But you can't call it an insect, and you can't call it a bird or a drone. It's moving pretty darn fast, so it was worth sharing. So here we go, number 4. We're going to get back to the open ocean.
With regular maintenance, they can run continuously without refueling for 20 years.
That was like basically a 5-second clip, and we're going to take a look at a very small segment of the sky from that 5 seconds. And I'm going to share a couple things with you. Check this out. I mean, there's all of this stuff going on. I don't know if you can see it or not, so I'm going to change the contrast here and slow it down. And you can start to see these things, yeah, just happening in the sky. And so we're going to go through a few of them, and I'm just going to pause them to point them out. You can see these things once they're paused. They're, various points of the screen. But again, this is in one small segment of the sky over open ocean. Like, why is any of this happening, really? Um, but it is. It's all happening. And you can go through the original footage and find more on your own. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now, the most dynamic part of this footage is what I'm about to show you. And again, this was all within 5 seconds, right? Well, I don't know. This is like a nanosecond of that 5 seconds, but look at this. That delta shaped or boomerang, or whatever you want to call it, that thing is in one frame, and it's barely one frame. And it's not a bird. I'm going to show you the one frame slowed, and it's still fast. But there's the ship, and then right here is where this thing pops up. And birds come into frame and go out of frame. They don't just instantly show up and be gone like this. So yeah, I think it's amazing. It's hard to spot, but it's there. The other thing too is that like birds have feet and beaks and talons and feathers and stuff. There's nothing about that that even looks like a bird. And the fact that that all happened within 5 seconds in one little section of the sky is pretty telling. I think, statistically, it just tells me that if you spend enough time and look with enough uh, attention to detail, you're going to find a whole lot of stuff out there. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to number 5. I think this speaks for itself. I don't know what it is, but I know it doesn't look like an airplane or a drone or anything else. And and we see them all the time, whatever they are. They seem to be up there in the sky, zipping around or hovering, loitering. Yeah, I saw it, so I thought I'd share it. Okay, moving on to number 6 here. This one I was on the fence with. So the reason I included this is because it seems like there's a shadow underneath it and there's no weight. There's nothing to indicate that it's actually in the ocean, in the water. So I'm led to believe that it's above it. And if it is above it, how come you don't see any wings? Right? So I don't know. Is this a tic tac? If it is in the water, why does it look like there's a shadow? I think the fact that we can't tell what it is what's intriguing about it. I mean, there's no wings. It doesn't obviously say boat. It doesn't obviously say plane. There's nothing obvious about what it is, um, which is, why it's interesting and probably why it caught my eye in watching this footage. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to number 7 here. All right, so this thing comes from the top right and just comes moving along. This is slowed, but you can see it's not smooth. It's like it's starting and stopping, it's starting and stopping, and then all of a sudden it decides we're going to go straight down now. And the terrain changes in the background, but this is the extension of it. It's still coming straight down, and it's not moving like anything, you know, prosaic that I'm aware of, at least. And what's interesting is this is being recorded from a cockpit. You know, this is already up in thousands of feet in the air. So, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but there it is. And then it just, you know, kind of comes over, and then goes straight down. And this kind of unfluid movement is just different. And, you know, I don't know what to make of it, but I was watching this footage and this thing caught my eye. So, you know, I screen recorded it and slowed it down and zoomed in. And sure enough, there's some weird thing here. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I suppose it could be an insect in the cockpit. I guess you could make that argument, but it's not even moving like an insect. So I don't know. But I think it's fascinating. I'll tell you that. All right, this is the last one here, and this is also interesting. Top right, this thing, yeah, it looks like an orb. I don't know what else to call it, and then poof, it's gone. Um, yeah, and we'll look at it from a few different angles here, and you know, I think it goes behind that pole right there, which is pretty obvious to me. And when I say then poof, it's gone, for real, like it doesn't go off screen. That's the last frame it's in, and this is what that looks like. That's the disappearing zoomed in. So yeah, I mean, and again, we'll back out and you'll see, you know, um, this is associated with a port and watercraft. So yeah, I think it's really cool looking. You'll see it right there, and then it just cuts over to the left, and this is it in real speed. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. But like all of these things, I mean, birds look like birds on camera. When you zoom in, you slow down, you back away, you know, they just look like bigger, slower, maybe a little blurry, but they still look like birds. Same thing with insects. You can see wings, you can see legs, feet, you know, jet propulsion. If it's you can tell what it is. But for whatever reason, these things, who knows? And then they disappear on top of it. So go figure. All right, folks. So recap time. The first thing we did was show you the flashback footage from last year. And this thing was changing colors and it was super bright and then it dimmed out and then it bounced like this when it took off, which, you know, doesn't move like anything we know of. And then number two, this plane was circling around to land on the aircraft carrier, and this thing was seemingly above the aircraft carrier, changing shape and then disappeared. Then this number three, the orb goes up and through the helicopter. At least that's the way it looked like to me. And then number four was this thing where we have these sort of just like fireworks going on in the sky. And then after we took a look at that, I showed you this boomerang thing that's in the sky for like a nano frame, which is crazy, but again, inexplicable. And then we got these parachuters, and this thing just shooting by in number five. And then again, number six, I can't tell if it's in the water or not, but it was interesting, interesting enough to share with you guys. And then number seven is this thing over the mountains, which I don't know what to make of it. And then, yeah, and then number eight is this thing here at the port, which, you know, is pretty cool. All right, folks, that's it in terms of the recap. I'm going to get out of here on this one, though. This happened last week at my house. This was post-dinner. I'm in charge of kitchen cleanup, and I was doing that, and I saw some movement out of my peripheral vision, so I grabbed my phone and checked this out. I should probably point out that the kitchen cleanup routine includes music and dancing, and that night was no different. So that's why this is muted. Yep, bears and my loquat tree. Go figure. Anyway, thanks for your time. Get in the comments, share the video with other people you think might enjoy it or might have some input, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.